This week, some of our favorite guests talk about the influence of their fathers. For many of the figures we've spoken with, their dads have acted as guides on the path to success, and the loss of that guide, at any age, is a time of both grief and reflection. You said something to the effect of, it seemed as if every person in the world saw me land at 900, except though the one person I most wanted to see me land it, and that being, your late father.
Yep.
To what extent did that get to you at the time?
Well, my dad passed away in 1995. He was a huge proponent of skateboarding. He was always supportive of what I was doing. He helped to form the sanctioning body for skate events in the late 80s because no one else was taking the incentive to do that. National Skateboard Association, which is now World Cup, which actually runs X Games events. He saw the first X Games on TV in 1995. And for him, that was a huge moment that skateboarding was on ESPN. You know, they were giving it some value, you know, and they were giving it some airtime. And he thought, wow, skating's really come of age. It's on ESPN. It's on network TV. And for him, that was a big deal. And he just never saw how big it got. And, you know, so much of it was because of his support. And so the fact that he didn't get to see the X Games in 1999, that was hard.
Your father passed away from pancreatic and liver cancer, and I read that you said his passing was really allowed you to gain perspective, see the big picture. What about that?
Well, my dad was 56. He was far too young. I was 30 years old when he passed, and I look back on it and I said my dad sort of lived for what I did, and I felt like, I wanted to be the best I could be, but I don't think when my dad passed that I'd really given him my best.
What?
I think I could have played a lot better. I could have worked harder. I think you can always work harder. I mean, did I work hard? Yes, but could I have worked harder? Yes. And when he passed, I said, "Oh, here he is. I'm just in the start of my career, and yet my father's gone, who really was what he is what he lived for." And so I sort of rededicated myself a little bit that year, and I think my golf game was kind of shabby, actually, and in my opinion. But I got back in 1970, and then I won the British Open that year at St. Andrews, and that was sort of saying, Dad, I think I made you proud here. So that was good.
Your father was the head coach at the high school you played at. What do you think you most learned from him?
You know, the thing is with my dad, he may tell other people, boy, I am proud of that boy. I never heard that. I know he was proud of me, but it was almost like this fear of being soft. I mean, it was tough love. I mean, and he was a coach first with me, and I would say to him at times, like when I was playing high school football for him, I'd say, "Dad, I think we ought to throw it some." "Well, I think you ought to let me run the damn team, and you do what I say." I'm thinking to myself, surely he wants me to get a scholarship. He's got to throw the ball. But long story short, it worked out.
You were out on a golf course, and your wife calls the teammate that you're with, and he turns to you and tells you the tragic news that your father had passed away, had a heart attack. You have Monday Night Football the next day that you're supposed to be playing in, and are left with the decision of whether to play in the game or fly home to Mississippi. Why do you decide to play?
It was a tough choice, but it was an easy choice, if that makes any sense. Up to that point, any conversations with my dad always involved football. That's what we did, that's who we were, that's what we talked about. And when I say that that's what he would have wanted me to do, that's the truth.
You had 399 yards, 4 touchdowns, one of the finest performances of your career. How much did that mean to you?
Oh my goodness. You know, I mean, there were some of the best throws. As I think back to that game, there were a couple throws that would rank as maybe some of my best ever. But there were also some that had no chance of being caught by our guys, but yet they were. And so it was just one of those nights.